People around the world watching each race on TV, but they didn't know the half of it. Motor racing is a secret world, and we're about to show you some of those secrets and how Hill and the Williams team powered their way to racing's greatest prize. Fasten your seatbelts, we're going to take you for a ride.
Damon Hill, Grand Prix Formula One World Champion, 1996. It wasn't until the last of the season's 16 Grand Prix races that Damon clinched the title. And every race was a test of physical endurance as well as driving skill.
It's like going for a run for an hour and a half. On top of that, you're being battered about, so it's a bit like going sort of 5 rounds with Mike Tyson as well.
This is the Williams FW18, £1 million worth of greased lightning that takes 25,000 man-hours to build. And this, the powerhouse inside, the V10 engine with a big boost and a short life. Every 300 miles, it has to be stripped down and rebuilt. The Williams team take 9 spare engines to each race, which don't come cheap.
It has to be 150, 200,000 pounds, I would imagine, for an engine, and I would think every time they're rebuilt, I would think it's an expenditure of 50, 60,000 pounds.
That's quite a service bill, and each one of the car's 3,000 components will set you back too. Set of tyres, Gov, £1,600. They take up to 80 to each race, and the tyres have to be fussed over, even warmed before the start.
The car is much slower on cold tyres because of the lesser grip that the car achieves in the corners. And the tyre runs considerably over the boiling point of water. It's, you wouldn't, when the car comes into the pits, you would want to be careful not to put your hands on the surface of the tyre.
When Damon does pull into the pits, the crew pounce. They pump 26 gallons into the tank and they check the air, always. The tiniest loss of pressure could cost a race. The tyres are wrapped in electric blankets to keep them at 85 degrees centigrade. Within 9 seconds, the 20-man crew have done their work. It's off with the covers and Damon's away.
Now, if only my local garage could do me a full service and MOT at that speed. But fat tyres alone don't keep Williams on the fast track for the World Championship. It took over a year for a team of 200 to create the FW18, a car to beat all others, a car which turns the world of the aeroplane upside down, and it's all in the wings. The faster Damon drives, the faster air rushes over those wings. But instead of causing lift, as it would on a plane, the angle of the wings makes the air rushing over them pushed down. This increases the load on the tyres, and that gives Damon a better grip on the track, which prevents understeer. That's when a car responds too slowly to the steering wheel. The wings are even given different settings for each Grand Prix track. Just 1 millimetre of adjustment is all it takes. The ideal balance gives enough grip, but doesn't produce drag.
The shape of the FW18 has been tested to the limit. Williams spent £4.5 million on their own wind tunnel. It gives them a streamlined car, but it doesn't give Damon much elbow room.
The cockpit is very, very tight. There's no doubt about that. The slimmer they can make the car, the faster it goes through the air. Inevitably, that means I have to make do with a very tight cockpit. I bang my elbows, bang my knees, I get squashed, and it's very uncomfortable.
So, how does Damon keep going, pushing the car and himself to the edge? Well, he has Formula One in his blood.
Graham Hill again, this time in the BRM, number 1.
His father was twice world champion in the 1960s.
In one of the most daring performances of his career, he just passed Clark on the post.
And this season, Damon followed in his father's slipstream by winning that same world championship at an average speed 30% faster than his dad. He's driving at 80 yards a second, but he still operates a whole range of controls.
This is the method for changing gear, and rather than have a gear lever and have to put my foot on the clutch, I just pull this lever towards me to go up, and it sends an electronic signal to the gearbox, so I can change gear and turn the steering wheel at the same time. Everything has a dual purpose on this thing. That can supply me with a drink during the race. I can switch it over and it activates a little pump which pumps fluid into my mouth, through the crash helmet, up through a tube. I switch it off and I hope that it switches off, because if it doesn't, then it will just keep on pumping this fluid into my mouth and I'll drown. The other green switch over here is the radio, and very simply, I flick it across to talk and flick it back when they want to talk to me.
Damon's progress is watched every second. The car's fitted with a system of sensors at strategic points, constantly checking everything from oil pressure to the G-forces hitting them. The sensors send signals to a series of computers, and the computers translate the signals into graphs, displayed on a bank of monitors. As he screams past the pits, the signals are flashed to the crew from this black stick on the bonnet. At the same time, a radio link passes them on to Williams' headquarters in Oxfordshire. The system's called Telemetry. It produces a separate graph from the signals of each sensor and even generates its own map of the race circuit.
Each Grand Prix is a physical hammering for Damon. The cockpit temperature reaches 50 degrees centigrade. On a fast bend, Damon is hit by 4G. That means he weighs 4 times his normal body weight. Even the blood flow to his eyes is affected, so he has to make sure he's physically prepared for the punishment.
It's quite simply, I wouldn't be able to steer the car if I wasn't strong enough, and I wouldn't be able to hold my head up if my neck wasn't strong enough.
So how would we feel in his place?
Well, first of all, you'd feel excited and exhilarated, and then after about 2 laps, your head would fall off and you wouldn't be able to drive it anymore. It's very difficult to actually train the neck muscles, but I have a machine, a contraption at home, it simulates a cockpit, and I wear a crash helmet, and I have pulleys and weights, and I can hook these things onto my crash helmet and simulate the forces on my neck by doing repetition exercises and strengthening exercises.
They can even measure how Damon's body responds to the pressure. The average heart rate is 70 beats per minute. In a race, Damon's peaks at 190.
It's just a big thrill. I mean, I don't really know how to put it in terms other than the fact that we've got nearly 800 horsepower and a lot of grip. It's a fantastic feeling.
It's 4 years since Damon's Formula One debut. It's always been his dream to be world champ. Now, at last, the dream has come true.